wanted to show you a project that's been going on for a little while and that I'm trying to actually get completed. I don't have much more to go on it. This is my Bible, and the old Bible cover was really in bad shape. So I decided to make a new one. However, I'm recycling. That's why it's recycled cottage and garden. The pieces that I'm appliquing onto the new cover base were on a different Bible cover, a Bible I didn't use much. It was one of the first ones it was the first Bible I got besides the King James many years ago when it first came out, called the Living Bible. I outgrew that one real quickly and went to an NIV. I still like the King James, but I find the NIV much easier to read, and so I kind of go back and forth between the two. But this is the one that I use the most, is the NIV. So what I did was I took the old Bible cover and I cut it apart into three pieces: the top, or the front, the spine, and the back. And I have basically appliqued it onto this new cover base. The cover base itself is a doubled heavy cotton in a medium blue, and I think that will wear pretty well without showing dirt too bad. The old cover that was on the Living Bible, the base is kind of a tan denim type fabric. It's a twill. I chose that fabric because I had some and because I knew it would wear well. And you can tell from the date on here that the original cover was made in 1983. This is the back of the Bible, and the Hebrew lettering here actually reads from right to left. I don't read Hebrew, but this was a song that our pastor had written, just a very simple little praising God song, and it was one of my favorites that we did, and so I decided to embroider that on the back. I really like the Hebrew letters. I think they're beautiful, and it's done in a blue metallic thread. The border is done in silver and gold metallic. I don't know how well you can see the silver in there, but there is a little tiny silver metallic line just on either side of this dark purple. And then the gold Celtic knotwork inside of the purple is gold. It's a gold metallic. The purple and the red are silk threads that I got. They're fairly thick, so was able to do fill-in stitches quite nicely with those. To applique this part on, what I did was I cut my pieces out, all three pieces, a little bit bigger than what I needed, and I measured out and marked it with a pencil as to where I actually wanted to turn them under. And then I used Fray Check, which is a sewing aid. It's like a liquid. It's kind of a thick liquid. The new Fray Check is much better than the old. I don't know if it shows up on there. There is a little, you can see a little bit of it along the edge there, this edge that I have not done yet. But it's very faint. The old style Fray Check used to really leave a dark stain. The new does not. But I went ahead and put Fray Check on it. Once that was good and dry, and I did both sides since this fabric is very thick. Once it was good and dry, I cut out where I wanted to cut it, which left me enough to either turn under, or in this case, along the spine and the front, I'm using a ribbon to go over top of. Once I had them cut out, I used fray check again. This fabric frays very easily. You could see, maybe you can see a little bit of a piece trying to peek out there. But it's not fraying any longer because there's fray check on it. It's kind of a gluish type stuff. And since this isn't something that's going to be washed a lot, and when it is washed, it'll be hand washed, the fray check is going to work okay. So I did that part. Then I laid out, I wrapped my Bible, and I wrapped it a little better than I have right now, with the blue, so I knew where to lay it out. This will be pulled tighter and it will fit a lot better when I'm done. I just kind of quickly put it on here for right now. And then on the back, which was the first part I worked on, I turned it under, and then I actually just embroidered a red all the way around the outside because it needed something. And that one is actually turned under. The spine is not turned under. Same fabric, gold metallic thread to say Holy Bible, and then the purple is the silk thread. And then I took this 1/8 inch satin ribbon and just tacked it down with back stitches, doing the inside first and then the outside edge. So I'm doing the same thing on the front with the ribbon. So I've got two sides done, the bottom and the side over here done. I've got two more sides to go on the applique, and then that part will be done. And I'll be able to take out my little basting stitches. I don't know if you can see, there's some blue basting stitches on here, just to hold things in place. Now when you have embroidery on fabric, it is rarely, if ever, good and flat. So it's not like doing, a piece of paper on here. So I'm going to get little lumpies and bumpies that show up. But by the time I get this laid out and laid down and stitched down, it will flatten out. And it'll look pretty good. It's never going to be perfect. I've never had a piece of embroidered fabric be absolutely perfect. But that's okay, because God's the only one who is perfect. Now the front cover, like the other pieces, is that cotton denim-y type twill, and the red and purple are silk threads. Inside the purple is Celtic knotwork, and that was all done in just was it back stitches? I don't remember now if it was back stitches. Might be stem stitches. I'm not positive. It's been way too many years. If you remember from here, it was done in 1983. I've slept since then. So I've got, I did the metallic stitches first, and then came back with the satin to fill in. That way I didn't lose the design, and it was easy to see. So I've got the purple behind the cross, and then outlined satin stitch with the red silk. Vines, another Christian symbol, and that's gold metallic thread with green metallic thread leaves. And then these little circles with little things hanging off the bottom, those are representative of a pomegranate. And a pomegranate is another biblical symbol. And there are 66 of them, one for each book of the Bible. So there's the symbolism on it. And I'm almost done. One other piece of symbolism would be, let's see if I can get this, there we go. this little thing here. This is my signature and of course the year. But this little thing is a sliced open hawthorn berry. And the reason for that is that my grandmother, who taught me how to cross stitch when I was probably 4, her maiden name was Hawthorne. So I kind of use that as my own little symbol. So all I have left to do after I get these 2 sides stitched down is to stretch this out onto the book itself more where it needs to be instead of just kind of laying there like it is right now. And I'll pin that so I know exactly where it's going to be, and it'll be good and tight and fit very snugly. And then what I'll do is what they call a mattress stitch. So I'll stitch into the outside and then into the bottom part and into the top and into the bottom. So that way when you pull it tight after a couple of stitches, it pulls it together and you don't actually see any stitches. They disappear inside. That's just kind of a little update to let you know one of the things I've been working on for a while, and this would be why it's taking me so long now to finish it. I hyperextended this thumb, which means that you pull it, it pulls backwards, and that hurts a lot. And then what happens is you've got, take this off, there's tendons that run inside here and down here. So they're in and then into the palm and come down here. And those get stretched out. And then they don't want to snap back like they're supposed to. So range of motion is a lot more limited. You can see range of motion's a lot more limited. And then to open my hands up, I can almost get them to the same, but not quite. And I can't push it back. And my knuckle is a lot bigger than it used to be. It wasn't before I damaged it. And about halfway through the healing process, I managed to flip it back again. Really bad. So, what I've been doing is, when I'm doing too much of anything, I'm wearing this little brace that I picked up at the local CVS. And it's got 2 stays in it, which is just enough to keep it from going backwards. It gives it just a little bit of support there to where the muscles and the tendons don't hurt so bad. So there's you a tip for if you mess up your hand or your finger, your thumb. These things are worth their weight in gold. Anyway, that's my little project I've been working on. Just a little Bible cover for my Bible. It desperately needs one. I'll show you. I had to repair the Bible itself. It's been well used, and the spine of it was tearing. It was torn about down to here, and it was fraying down here. So I used some fancy duct tape, and there's about 3 or 4, I guess, pieces on here. And with this pattern, it's kind of hard to tell where it starts and stops, but nobody pretty much sees it but me anyway. And then I run out of that, so I used black duct tape to repair the corners, which were kind of smushed. You know, when you're got your Bible and you throw it in the car to go to church or whatever, it just gets smushed. So I repaired those, gave them a little bit more strength with the duct tape. It's not pretty, but it'll be covered up. And then with the new cover, it'll be good as new. And one of these days, I'll show you what's inside. That's also something I've been working on since the 80s. and I've taken a lot of flack for it from some people, but I enjoy it. It's now a thing. It's now a thing called Bible journaling. Back in the 80s, it was just called doodling to keep my hands busy. And I had people tell me I shouldn't be doing that in my Bible, and I promptly ignored them and went on doing what I was doing. So anyway, I'll show you that at some other point in time, and I thought you might like a little peek into one of my major hobbies, which is embroidery. Embroidery of pretty much any kind I enjoy doing. And I felt like, this Bible cover had turned out too pretty to, just put in a drawer somewhere, because it didn't fit any other book but the Living Bible, which I no longer use. So what I did with that book is I took our local sheriff's department has asked for people to donate books to the jail for the inmates. But it cannot be a hardback. It has to be a paperback. So let me show you what I have done. This isn't actually it, but this was another one that I did that was an NIV. I take the covers off of them, and then I use sorry, it's been sitting on the floor, and I have a cat that's shedding. I take file folders, and I take and cut them to size, and then run glue across the spine, and then down each side, and put these new paper covers on, and then just put a weight on them and let them sit overnight. It's just plain old Elmer's glue, and it works pretty well. You get a paperback version of the book. I've got several over here. This one just happened to be an NIV that I picked up at one of our local shops, and they didn't even charge me for it, so that was nice. Had taken everything I had over there, and then they informed me, to the jail that is, they informed me it had to be paperback, because if somebody tries to get violent, they're going to pick a book up and pitch it, and if it's a hardback, it could do some damage to someone. So they want paperback. So this is what I'm doing when I find inexpensive Christian-based books. They're asking for Christian-based books, books on various and sundry hobbies and stuff that would get people interested in something other than crime. That's the kind of stuff they're asking for. So I've donated some garden books. I've got, and most of what I picked up at one of our little local charity shops. They had a huge shelf of Christian, not really a self-help book, but Christian encouragement type books. And so I picked up a few of those, and some Bibles, and some of the the little tiny ones like they used to give away in school when I was a kid anyway. Just the little pocket ones. And so those have already been donated, but I had a few that were hardback, so I decided to do this to them, so I can go ahead and donate these as well. I'm all for reading. I don't care what kind of book it is, unless it's like porn or something. What you do in the privacy of your own room as an adult, that's one thing, but I don't think that prisoners need that. So anyway, that's what I did with the Living Bible that the cover used to be on. So it's got a new home as well. Even the NIV might be a little much for some folks, so to have something like the Living Bible, which is very much a modern language, it might carry them through to the next phase. Anyway, I'll leave it there with you. Thanks for visiting today, and I hope you come back again to see what I'm up to.